Ugh. Hey, so in case you didn't know, I live in the greater Seattle area and we're having a heat wave right now. It is the hottest it's ever been here. Like normally like early July and then maybe again one time in August we'll have like a day or two of 90-degree weather, and that is just killer. Like people die. Like the fans sell out everywhere. Like that was the first year it hit 90 that I was here, was when we bought our little air conditioning unit. Like we only have one little unit for air conditioning because we use it like 2 days of the year for like 90-degree weather. And then otherwise, like you open up at night, it goes down to 60, it's really nice. We're having a heat wave. You've probably seen on the news. Today, like the 108 is probably gonna get hotter than that. It's supposed to hit 113. And if you don't know what Seattle is, it's humid. Humidity is awful in the heat. It's so bad. You probably, if you've lived somewhere more humid than this, then you get it. But if you've lived somewhere dry, like in dry heat, and this is, I did a video, I lived in Death Valley for about 6 months. So like I've been in heat. I've been in 130-degree heat. Like I know what heat feels like. In dry heat, you get in out of the sun and the heat drops significantly. Like being in the shade is such a humongous difference when you live in a dry heat. That's not true in humidity. It's like the difference between the sun and the shade is like whether or not you get sunburned. It's not really a temperature difference. It's pretty intense. So we're dying of the heat. I've got my fan on over here. I won't be turning it off. This is the hotter side of the house. I just wanted to make a video, turn on the lights for a second, even though I probably need to turn them back off really soon because I can already feel like they've just barely been turned on and they're already, it's too hot in here. It's so hot. I hope everyone is staying safe. I've been just running around all weekend. Josh was visiting. I'm already taking him back to the airport. He, you know, decided to fly out on the hottest day of the year. Who could have known though? Like who could have predicted? My brother-in-law's wedding, Josh's brother's wedding, was 2 days ago, like this Saturday. The first of the heat wave when it hit 100 for the first time. Who could have predicted that? I mean, they had to push this wedding back from last year due to COVID. And now, you know, they moved it. And it was so hot. It was so hot. It was an outdoor wedding. Luckily we were in shade, but like it was 100 degrees. We were dying. I couldn't wear the dress I wanted to wear because it was a long dress and I was going to die. Like I'm sitting here sweating right now. Like I was just sweated the whole day. I sweated through my entire dress. It was intense. Poor bride, she was dying in her long gown. Like, oh, it was so bad. But it was a beautiful wedding. It took place at Rose Red, which I have talked about because I did The Haunting of Hill House as a buddy read with Shelley Flowers Reads and Writes. Rose Red is just a ripoff of The Haunting of Hill House, but I love that miniseries, and they got married there. They got married at Rose Red. They got married at Thornwood Castle. I'll put in some different pictures from it, but they used the exterior of the castle for Rose Red. It was really cool. Like, we got there and I was like, oh, wait a second, I know what this place is. It was really cool. I really like that miniseries. Even though he did just fully plagiarize Shirley Jackson. But you know, it was a lovely day despite the heat. Like we survived. It's just been really intense. It's been crazy. It's unbelievable to go outside in the heat. But go outside we did. I had to, you know, take Josh to the airport. We had to shuttle around all of the wedding stuff, had the outdoor wedding. Like, I've been outside more than I probably have been in the last year on this, the hottest weekend of all time in Seattle. It's been very, very intense. We were fortunate enough to have this little tiny AC unit that we bought years and years ago. Actually, Josh's mom bought it for us like 5 years ago. It's been a long time. Like literally the first time that it hit 90 degrees that I lived up here. We've got multiple fans because we've collected over the years. Like I'm pretty good at knowing, you know, this side of the house has to have all the blinds down in the morning. That side needs to have them all down in the afternoon. I still open up the windows at night even though it barely got down to 70. It was like last night I was thinking I'll just wait until it's under 80 degrees. Like I haven't been sleeping. That's what it comes out to. I haven't been sleeping. I haven't slept for like 2 weeks with the stress with work and then with the heat that's been coming through. I cannot sleep when it's hot like this. Like I just can't do it. So I haven't been sleeping, and then this weekend I really have not slept. in like 4 days now. Like I've laid down plenty, but I have not really slept much. I'm so tired, but I can't fall asleep in the heat. Yeah, so last night I was like, you know what, when it gets down below 80 degrees, it'll be perfect, I'll go to sleep. And it was like past midnight and it was just hanging on to 81 and it would not go below it. And I was just like, screw it. So I like opened up the windows, 81 degrees, but it was still cooler than it was in most of the house. We're just not equipped for this kind of horrible heat. Like there is a haze in the air outside. Cats are hanging on. I keep putting ice cubes in their water and you know, they're just resting. And I actually put out an ice brick for them thinking they'd really like to lay on it, and they were all like, what are you doing? So that didn't work. I went ahead and typed up 4 new poems that I've written this year that I had looked back through my journal and thought these would actually be really good in the poetry book. So now that Josh is gone, maybe I'm gonna wait for the heat to cool down a little bit, but I think tonight I'm gonna work a bit on the poetry book. I typed up all of the poems, so tonight once it starts cooling down, I will read back through them and do edits, and then I'm going to shuffle them into the poetry book. And I'm gonna get it done. I really want to get the poetry book all situated and completed. I only have a couple more days. I only have 2 more days of work. How cool is that? 2 more days of the job that I should have quit years ago, and finally I quit. I'm feeling good about it. The only thing obviously I'm worried about is money, but I think I'll be able to find something. I really think this is going to be good for me, just creative wise, to just have some time. I haven't had this in a while, especially where I have like full facilities. Like the last time I didn't have a job, I lived at Death Valley, and we didn't have anything. Like you can tell the upload quality of my videos isn't very good because we didn't have internet. I would have to we'd have to drive into Pahrump and like sit outside of the Denny's and use their Wi-Fi on my laptop in the hot car. That's how I upload those videos, so they're not very good quality. I couldn't, you know, network with anybody. Keeping up with YouTube was really hard. I wrote an entire draft of Circuit during that time. I wrote some short stories. Like I've written things that have then gone on to really help me, and I've posted videos that then I've become really popular. Like the How to Beat the Heat video from back when I posted that got 2 views for like years, and then obviously every now and then in the summertime it starts getting views again. But this is gonna be the first time where I've got internet access, support system, plenty of like, I got groceries that I want. I've got my cats here. Like I can just really stop and focus for a month on me and my writing. I obviously did a pretty good job back in May when I was just focused on the writing, and I think I do have a trip in July that I had forgotten is going to completely derail doing NaNoWriMo for the month, the Camp NaNoWriMo, but I'm still gonna do it and just see if I can finish it early. Another exciting thing I'm going to do is like chop off most of my hair. I've been wearing it like shoulder length because that was the longest it needed to be to pull it up into a ponytail. I do like a half bun thing, which is what I'm doing now to keep it off my neck. But I like it short better. It's just better for me mentally. So I'm gonna chop it off pretty short, and I'm gonna decide if I want to do an undercut, because now would be a great time to just try it, to just see if I want to. Probably my next video, I'll take you along for the ride. Normally when I've cut my hair like dramatically, I had Josh here to like make sure the back looks okay, but this time you're gonna have to supervise for me and you can watch me cut my hair off. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to a salon. I'm just gonna do it myself, and we shall pray for the results. I am gonna go, I thought I was gonna go nap, but honestly I just can't. Even with the AC blowing, I can't really fall asleep. I'm going to probably watch some more BTS stuff and watch some more individual videos, and then I found a stream of Run BTS, just goes all the way through. It's not a stream, but it plays through all of the episodes, so I probably will go, I think I'm only on episode 20. I'll play through and watch some more of those, and then yeah, as it cools off, work on poetry. I think the key to this poetry book is going to be a lot more like less just political and a little more like, you know, cut my veins open and spill my guts to you. I've been a little bit metaphorical and cautious in a lot of the poetry that I've put into my poetry books before. Like some of them have been very like personal and emotional poems, but the heavy on the metaphor, so that to me they have a very distinct meaning, but then to other people they might take on a very different meaning. And I'd like to put some of the ones that are a little more direct, a little more working through actual events that were really traumatic or that just like harmed me in a specific way. I want to put more of those in there, a little bit more of, yeah, just like personal stuff, because that's in vogue right now. I have those poems. Like, I think everyone writes those poems because poetry is a very effective form of therapy sometimes. Sometimes you gotta really like say what you need to say. When I took a poetry class, well, it wasn't a poetry, it was actually, I think it was one of the like English 201 or something like that, and it was the poetry unit for that class in college. I took it and somebody asked the question why poets are all suicidal, because we had gone over like Sylvia Plath and like a couple others from a similar time who all committed suicide, and they asked why poets are suicidal, and the teacher kind of just like left it open to the floor. So I actually piped up, and honestly I don't think it's that like writing poetry doesn't make you suicidal, but I do think that a lot of people who are prone to the type of depression that could lead you towards suicide are also very drawn to poetry as a means of release, as a means of therapy, as just a way to get their feelings out. A lot of times people turn to poetry when they don't have a very good support system, or they have a very deep secret and they want to protect themselves from possibly an outside source, but they also want to be able to express the thing inside of them. And I think that poetry is a medium that just allows for that very well. And so I think there have been many very good poets throughout history who have been depressed, who have had suicidal thoughts, and I don't think that's something that like being a poet created in them. I think that poetry is just a medium that very much appeals to people who are already suffering from something debilitating like that. Not saying any of my poetry has to do with anything like that, but I think there's going to be more of that in this book, and some of the poems I've written recently have been a little bit more like organizing some of those thoughts. I finally felt in the last year, really, I finally felt like I was ready to tell some stories that I was really never ready to tell before. I mean, one of those being the study abroad story that I've kind of shelved back again. Things where dealing with some like personal things that I didn't really know how to talk about without it being, you know, traumatic again, or that I might be hurting somebody who maybe deserved the hurt. Or that maybe didn't deserve the hurt in some of the cases, or that it's just like you don't need to air your dirty laundry or anything like that. And I feel like I'm ready to say some of those things, so the poetry book will probably angle a little bit more towards that. But what I'm gonna do right now is probably cut up the rest of my watermelon. I have half a watermelon in the fridge still. I'm gonna cut it up, and I'm probably gonna go watch the BTS stuff. And as it cools down, I'll show you the plants. I'll have like how the plants look today, and then after I water them, because you gotta water really thoroughly with your plants in weather like this, but you gotta do it at night. It's the key. You do it at night so they have the longest period of time to like absorb all of the water without it evaporating. So every night I've been drowning the plants, and then every day they're wilting down again, because none of us are prepared for this heat. So I hope you're able to get a nice big glass of ice water, and that you have some means of staying cool and out of this heat. It is supposed to cool down tonight. It's supposed to be under 70 tonight, so we're maybe almost out of the woods, but obviously not forever, because this is caused by global warming. This is climate change. This is something that is going to be a problem for a very long time. So this is something we need to all be looking at doing our part to prevent in the future, to help cool down the earth, because we have caused such a big issue as humans. But anyway, I will show you the plants later. Okay, the sun is on the sensor right now, so this is not accurate, but I just wanted to show you this nonsense. Okay, I misspoke earlier. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And again, it's only like, here, wait, we'll pull up my phone. It's only 105. Apparently in the sun, it's 122. Jesus. If your floor doesn't look like a mess of papers, are you even creating a poetry book? Cora, how is your poetry book coming along? Are you working very hard? Yes, it looks like you're working very hard on that part over there. Good job. Such big help. Oh yes, the most helpful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is my process. Somehow this just really helps to like lay it all out on the floor. Kind of no particular order, but like an order in my head. And I'm going to gather it together. I have a really long poem that I think needs a little bit of a cut down that I want to be the central message of the book. I talked a little bit earlier about like getting through some traumas for me, and one of the like I think the earliest for this book one was that where I went to elementary school, we weren't terribly far away from Columbine shooting when it happened, and that sort of shaped the way I viewed other events, like very, very strongly. Like obviously that was, and I've talked about it with friends so far removed from 9/11, it didn't hit at that young age the same way that Columbine hit. We were in 3rd grade for Columbine and 6th grade when 9/11 hit. And so like pretty young and just not able to grasp the difference in severity because the difference in proximity was so much more apparent. So I want to get those feelings out. I feel like I'm not the only one who's like been through that kind of thing where like we put so much emphasis on like one event or something, but you experienced a different event very differently from many, many people because of your proximity to it. And I think a lot of people are going through that. So I wanted that poem to be the central message. And for everything else, look, like Bob Pye's in on this. Sabotage. Look at the saboteurs. Terrible. This is the room. Oof. This is the room with the AC. So that poem is either going to be the like first poem or the centerfold poem, and I haven't decided yet, which is why everything is chaos over here. I'm going to work on my plan and ordering these the way I want them. That's what I'm gonna do until I get that done. And then, apparently, BTS has a whole string of music videos that are like an alternate universe storyline that kind of work together to be a movie. And someone has put together what looks like a 2-hour compilation of that. So I need to get this done in plenty of time to watch that before bedtime. So wish me luck. That gives me like an hour and a half at this point. I can do this. I can get these in an order, and then a read through and revisions is gonna happen tomorrow night, assuming I get this video edited by then. Ta-da! Despite all the help I received, I managed to finish. It's like, I didn't quite count it, maybe 70 pages. And there's gonna be two parts. The first part is kind of the more political side, and the second part is more of the like feminism side, which is sort of what I always intended for this, but it's a lot more personal. The AC is back here. See, that's my little unit. Oh God, it's hot. However, it seems to have cooled down a little bit, so you wanna go check the plants with me, and then I'm gonna wrap up the vlog from there. Let's go see how they're looking. I'm gonna have to water them. Oh my gosh. Oh, the drama outside. Oh, these plants all got watered last night. Oh, look at this. Oh no. Oh, sad. Okay. Oh man. Alright. Grab my watering can. I'm gonna have to go water the plants because the sun's gonna be going down soon, so it's about the perfect time to do it. And then I'm done for today. I'm gonna start uploading this video so that it can go out properly on Wednesday, which will be my last day of work. And then the next thing you'll see of me after this will be celebrating quitting my job and cutting my hair. Oh, you gonna celebrate? You gonna say something, Cora, first before we go? Say hi? Oh no, okay. Anyway, that'll be it for me. I'm gonna go rescue these plants. Don't worry about it, they'll be fine. And hopefully you're not suffering the heat like we are. It's supposed to be the last day of this heat wave. We're supposed to be going down to like more normal summer temperatures. Fingers crossed for us. You can like see the sweat on me. This is real nice. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Okay, so here are the plants after getting watered at night. Those peas are barely hanging on anymore. But they got plenty of water last night. It's just been too hot.